Okay. Okay. Well, then a warm welcome to everyone joining our webinar about the MBA Renewables today. It's a webinar for people interested in our online study program. My name is Caroline Weiland. I guess many of you have been in touch with me already. Here with me today is Uta Zeringer, my colleague from the Renewables Academy. And if you're wondering why I'm looking to this side, sometimes it's my colleague Silja Krösche who's sitting here. She's also coordinating the program, and she will be here today for the technical support and also to answer some of your questions, maybe. We are also joined by two students. Alejandra Reyes and Hikmat Bushnak-Yosting. They are willing to answer the questions you may have later, and we are very thankful for this, for showing up here. And if you have any questions, you see the chat window where you have already told me that you can hear me or that you can't hear me. There you can post the questions you may have during the presentation, and afterwards Andrea or Hikmat or we will answer them. And the webinar will last approximately 1 hour. And maybe we will also record this webinar, so you will receive a link to the recording afterwards. And I recommend, if you're a little bit irritated by all the pictures and the different pots, you can go on full screen size if you just click on these 4 arrows. So this might be more convenient, so you only will see the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so I think we should start with the presentation, and we'll have a look at the agenda first. Let's start with a brief introduction of the Beuth University and the Renewables Academy. We both are organizing the program together since 2011, when it started for the first time. And then I will give you some key facts about the program. Some of you may know them already. Those of you who have had a look at the website or did read the information email. And one other aspect which I think might be interesting for you is online learning, how it works, and I will also give you a bigger picture so you find out what to expect. And lastly, the application process, what the steps are if you are interested in attending the program, what the application deadline is, and so on. So I think this will altogether last 10 to 15 minutes, and after that, we will hand over to you with your questions and also to our students, of course. Okay, here you can see a picture of the campus of the Beuth University. I'll start. I'm and my colleague Cecilia are working here. It's a state university. It's a university of applied sciences, which means hands-on training is a very important part of the education. We have approximately 13,000 students, and the MBA Renewables program is situated or is organized by the Institute of Distance Learning, which is one department of this of the Beuth University. We offer 6 master's program, and they are all distance learning, but the MBA Renewables is our international program in English. So that's just shortly about the Beuth University, and then I'll hand over to Uta.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Uta Zeringer. I'm from the RENAC team. RENAC Renewables Academy was founded 11 years ago, and immediately shortly after the foundation, we met Professor Schindler, and the idea was to offer, beside other trainings, academic programs together. And in 2011, as Carolina already mentioned, we started with the MBA program. Beside university degree corporations, we offer a lot of other seminars, workshops, trainings for a wide range of people, engineers, people with a non-technical educational background. RENAC is an independent and private company, but I think this should be all for now. All of you, or those of you who will apply and will join the program, we will tell you a little bit more in detail later on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with some key facts. You all know it's an MBA program that's focusing on renewable energy topics. I won't go too much into detail in the curriculum because you can see this on our website. But what's important for you to know, it's a 100% online learning program. So that means you only have to come once to Berlin when you defend your master thesis in an oral exam. So we have no on-campus classes except this one elective Uta just told you about. On our graphics, you can see it's the duration is 2.5 years. It's a part-time program. It's intended for professionals. Nearly all of our students are employed. They are working their family and do the studies besides their job. And the language of instruction is English. And yeah, we often get the question, because we say it's an international program, where our students come from. So I think we have students from more than 40 countries, maybe it's even 50.
50.
You say it's 50, okay. And for instance, you see it if you look at the last batch, the batch of 2018, where also Alejandra and Hikmat are from. There we have 30 students, and they are from 21 different countries. So I think this shows how international it is, and they are not only from Europe, they are from all over. They're from Zimbabwe, from the United States, and Mongolia. So, and most of them were in Berlin in May. So it's a very special atmosphere. Yeah, and it's a program that has tuition fee. It's as you can read, it's 14,000 euros in total. So you pay per semester, which is 2,800 euro per semester. Okay, I won't go too much into all these key facts more because you can read all this on our website. Instead, I'll tell you a bit more about the online learning, how we organize it. You see a little screenshot. This is a screenshot from our online platform. It's called Moodle. It's a very common online platform, and this is, so to say, the center of your studies. There you will find all the learning units, so all the learning material. You don't have to buy any additional books. All the literature is there, written by the Renewables Academy and us and external authors. There you will also find some quizzes for yourself, so you can self-assess whether you have understood the contents of the modules. And in Moodle, we will also inform you about everything. You will get an automatic email message if there's a new post in the forum. You are able to connect with your fellow students. And here we will also upload assignments, which brings me to one important aspect, the examination. So in each module, we'll have 2 examinations. One is a midterm assessment, and you have to pass this assessment in order to be allowed to the final exam. We do have online exams, which are also taking place on Moodle, and other examination forms are online group presentations. For them, we use Adobe Connect, as we are sitting here right now. And there's also an exam, so-called exam under supervision, which will take place in your home country or in the place you are situated of the exam. And in Moodle, we will also inform you about your schedule. You will receive the dates for the schedule at the beginning of each semester. We have the winter and the summer semester. So that means you will study the entire year. There's no semester break, but you have this much flexibility, so you can have your time organized in a way that you have time for holidays, of course. And the exams, this is important to know, they always take place in March and September, so in the last month of each semester. And as you can see, besides Moodle, we use Adobe Connect for the online lectures. You have per module, you have 2 lectures. You can think that in each semester you will study 3 to 4 modules. So, and the thing which we think is a good fact and which helps to have to give it a very big flexibility to the program is that you are not you don't have to attend the online lectures. They will be recorded and streamed, such as this webinar we are doing right now. So if you don't have time to attend the lecture, is no problem. You can watch it afterwards. So this is in brief about the online learning. If you have questions about this, I'm not. I see there's no question yet. So please feel free to write your questions while I'm talking. It's no problem. So we can collect them. Okay, because this brings me already to my last slide, which is about the application process. Sorry, just in brief.
Frederick is typing. I don't know if he maybe has a question.
We'll take them afterwards. Mm-hmm. I see from your names that some of you have already undergone our admission pre-check. Important to know, for applying, we have 3 admission requirements. The first one is that you need to have a first university degree, but bachelor is fine. The second is that you have to have very good English skills, which you can either prove by an English test, or if English is national language in your country, of course you don't have to prove it. We accept this. Or if you have already studied in English at a university as a no English course, but really a study program in English, we will also accept this as proof. So you don't have to go any additional test. And the last aspect, which is quite important, I think, is that you need to show already at least 1 to 2 years of professional experience after your first university degree. And as I said, it's a program for professionals. So you will not only gain from things, the new things you learn, but also from your fellow students. So you will benefit from their work experience and from their knowledge. And that's why it's important that you also can show some professional experience. Okay, so in the beginning there's this admission pre-check. It's quite easy. You just fill in the application form, send it together with a proof of your English skills and your university degree. It's fine with the scan. You send this by email to us, MBA Renewables at beuth-university.de, and then we will inform you whether you are fulfilling our requirements and tell you if this applies, if this is the case, how you can submit your application. Most of our applicants have a non-German degree, and they do have to apply via an external organization called UniAssist. They assess all the degrees and tell us whether this applicant is fulfilling our requirements. Those who have a German university degree apply directly via us. The assessment by UniAssist takes 6 to 8 weeks. So we always recommend, if you are already certain that you would like to apply, to send your application as soon as possible. And the enrollment starts in September, and in October our courses start. So from 1st of October, given you have paid the fee, you will get access to our online platform and to the course material. Okay, this was very fast, I see, but I'm on time. So we will take the questions Or I see, oh, now something happened. There are much more questions. No, yeah, it's really better than none. I have to read them first. Maybe I'll answer them because there are no questions to our students, so it's easier. We'll start with the first questions. Are activities done in groups or individual? I'm not sure what you, or Frederick asked this. I'm not sure what you mean by activities, but I think you refer to the examinations. Both. We do have special, most, or no, it's, in fact, it's nearly half-half, I would say. So you will have individual assignments and also individual exams, like the online exams, like the exams under supervisions, where you on your own work on a task, or the online exam often is a multiple choice exam. And there are other examinations. There's one assignment, which is a group assignment. And there's also there are several final examinations which have to be done in a group. And this is sometimes an issue. Group work is always not always ideal. But on the one hand, it allows you to get to know all your fellow students better, which live all over the place, so you won't meet in a place. So this is your chance to work together, to get to know each other. And on the other hand, we think learning is more than just learning on your own. You benefit from the knowledge of the others. And I mean, you see this in the on-campus time at the RENAC. We have this one, there's an online and multiple choice exam, but also a group work.
There's a group work.
And I think this is quite, something which is...
Yeah, but the group work you start, maybe briefly about it on campus time, because this is the only possibility for you to meet each other during the study time. And there usually students have a lot of activities together. I mean, they learn together, the practical exercises are together, we offer field trips and lectures. And there's also outside RENAC, outside on campus time possibility to have activities and to organize activities together. This year on campus time they were very close together, but this is not what I think I should talk about. The assignment is that after the on campus time you will work in groups and have another group work as an assignment. So I hope the question is answered by this, because activities is not, maybe we have another understanding. Of course, you can meet your fellow students, your future fellow students via WhatsApp, but this you have to organize by yourself.
Okay. Then there was another question by Krasina. Do students have a chance to interact with the lecturer and other students during lectures? If yes, how? Yes, there's a chance. Especially now all your microphones are muted, but of course there is the option that you also answer questions during a lecture, or even better, ask your questions. And so it depends a bit on the lecturer, but I know that some lecturers really insert like kind of calls where they will hear about your opinion, about your background, about your experience. So yes, most of the lectures are very interactive.
Yes, and you have the forum.
Yeah, and the forum, of course. If you have any questions about the course contents or to your fellow students, you can of course use forum. I know, and maybe Hikmat will talk about this later, that this class, the batch of 2018, is very active. They started connecting very early, which is good for them. So for them, no, for us as well.
Yeah.
And so there is interaction, even if it's an online learning program. So I hope this answers your question. Then there was a question by Florian. Do we need to have a motivation letter? I assume this refers to the admission pre-check. For this, you don't have to submit the motivation letter yet, but if you are applying, then we would like to ask you to write a motivation letter and tell us why you intend to study the program, what is your background, what do you expect from the program, and this should be about 1 to 2 pages long. Okay. Then there's a longer question by Juan. But I think this is one, about residence permit. This is difficult to answer because the system. Juan, I would suggest I will get back to you later, and also Uta, because we're taking care of this, and I will answer this in a separate mail, because most of our students are not living in Germany, so this about visa and residence permit doesn't apply for them. Yeah, I hope that's okay. But I'll get back to you by email. Okay, then there was a question by Julia. Would you say that the program is suitable for someone with a communications background hoping to enhance, change their profile? If it's possible, Hikmat, because I know you have a different background, or maybe I put this a bit back, and then I get back to the questions, because at first I would like to introduce our students, but I will keep this in mind, Julia. We will answer this later. And the last question, which is more suitable for us, by Mohammed, on each of end of semester exams, what is the average pass rates among the previous batches? I mean, how easy or hard to pass on distance learning? Yeah, this depends, of course. There are always students who don't pass an exam. Often the reason for this is if you don't have enough time to invest, I think. But I can't give you a real number of the average pass rates. It's quite good, I think.
But there is a possibility to repeat.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Time.
If you don't, so for instance, if you fail an exam, then you have the option to you have 3 more tries to pass it, or 3 tries in total. Sorry, 2 more tries. But I can't really give you a number. But I would say 80 to 90% pass. So yeah, right. Yeah, but it depends a bit on the students. I have to say how if they start learning from the beginning and follow the contents. You are, even if we try to connect you all, if you're distance learning, you're a bit on your own, because you have to motivate yourself, and there are no classes you have to go each week to. So keep this in mind. I mean, Uta, maybe you did you studied besides work as well.
Yeah, but this was
right.
We had more on campus times.
Okay.
It was not a distance learning program like the MBA.
Okay.
However, it was hard, but I would say after then I could do my job here, and I'm happy that I did it. But sometimes you are really alone with your laptop. This you should keep in mind in advance.
Okay. So I can't see any other questions right now.
There's one.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Many more.
But Hikmat is waiting, maybe?
No, but it's 2 questions left.
Technical modules, yeah.
Okay, but these are very common questions.
Yeah.
I'll start with the last one by Xavier. What would be the expected amount of hours by week, rough average, we would need to spend for the course? And I think this is also a good question for our 2 students, not to tell you the precise number of hours, but to tell you how they cope, how they make this function. But in fact, we are here in Europe. There's a European credit system, so each module is worth a certain number of credits. In our case, our modules are worth 5 credits. You can calculate that 1 credit point is comparable to 25 hours of work as a workload, but this includes everything from reading, from the examinations, from the lectures you attend, from doing the exercise. So everything is in these 25 hours. So I calculated, because we have 3 to 4 modules per semester, that you can, I mean, it depends always a bit on you, how fast you learn, how much time you need. If it's a topic, you may already have some prior knowledge, but you need to count with 10 to 15 hours per week, I think. But as I said, it's a flexible program. So if there are times in your year where you have like 2 weeks off, it's even possible to invest more time in the studies there. But it's always good to continue learning from the start.
But to be honest, I did this another part-time program, time-consuming hobbies are not possible, I would say. I had 2 smaller kids at this time, and I managed it. But yeah, it's a period without hobbies, friendships. It depends. But yeah, you will be really busy.
Okay, and then there was another question by Dermot. Okay. What is the ratio between business and technical modules? And how much detail does the technical modules cover? To start with the first question. It's an MBA program, which is focusing on renewable energy. Because I'm taking care of all the application process, I know very well the background of our students. So I say 50% of our students already have an engineering background. And why do I tell you this? They have the intention to improve their management skills, and that's why 2/3 of our program are business modules. And we have, if you say the numbers, we have 4 more technical modules and 11 which are business modules. So you can find, we have a very nice curriculum on our website. I recommend you to have a look at it. There you can see which modules are offered in which semester. And but one thing I also would like to mention is that in the business modules, and that's why it's called an MBA Renewables, we focus, of course, on renewable energy topics. So you have like case studies dealing with renewable energy cases, for instance, in project management, or your exams will evolve around this. So there's always a connection to renewable energy. And then there was a second question, how much detail does the technical modules cover? And this, if possible, I would like to hand over to Uta, because I'm not at all a technical person. I have a background in languages, and she's from the Renewables Academy.
Yeah, so the technical modules were designed for MBA students. To make it shorter, for engineers, I would say, or I did the experience, it's easier to pass the more technical modules. For economists or people without a technical background, they may be more challenging, but yeah, manageable. Yeah. I mean, you have to do sometimes some calculations. Maybe Hikmat or Alejandra can give you an answer, because I'm on the other side. We designed it and we thought this would fit, and the feedback is that way. But I have an economical background and did a Master of Science in Renewable Energies, and some modules were really challenging. But yeah, we are here to guide you through these modules, and for that you have the forum, and in the second semester, if you are more familiar with your fellow students start to support each other.
Okay, there's one question I would like to take up, and then I would like to hand over to our students, because the other question can be answered by our students as well. And I can see that Hikmat is already waiting, I think. Yeah. So there was another question by Grazina: how many students do you usually have in a cohort? In total, it differs 25 to 35, I would say. Okay, but now, and don't worry, Stefan, I haven't overseen your question. We will take this soon. But first, yeah, maybe. Well, now it's not working. I would like to present 2 of our students. I would like to ask them to present themselves, as you have already seen their pictures, and maybe you have already read who they are. I'm very glad, and as well, of course, that Alejandra Reyes and Hikmat are joining us today. And
hello everyone. My name is Alejandra Reyes. I'm originally from Mexico, living in Germany. And I'm working in business development for Europe and Latin America. Currently, I'm changing industries. I was working in the water treatment industry, and now I'm going to actually energy industry. I started the MBA in April 2018. And the reason why I took this MBA was because I'm passionate about this topic. I saw that this has a lot of potential still to be applied, and I didn't want it to miss this opportunity. So yeah, that was the reason. Hikma?
There is something with your microphone, Hikmat. I can't hear you. Maybe can you check that the green microphone is on? I mean, it used to work an hour ago. So if you click on the microphone, it must be green, and then it should work. Still can't.
Permission hat er, yeah.
But because you're a host now, you could do everything you want. Okay, then we maybe
close and reopen.
Or you can, Celia just suggest you can also close and reopen, maybe. And in the meantime, I would like to ask, because I know there was this question by Stefan, I said, who has a background in a master in renewable energy and who is wondering if it makes sense to study this program. And I will just shortly say, I mentioned many of our students are engineers. We do, in fact, have a number of students who are working in the renewable energy industry, and many of them want to switch a bit or to gain more
actually
a different position. Usually in the management business. So it depends a bit on
that
what
was
you
one of my questions
want to achieve.
But
if this is your goal,
be able to catch up
it makes sense. And I know Alejandra, but I'm not sure. You have also a background
the modules from
in
the first
renewable
semester,
energy, or you're working in renewable.
it was
No,
just
sorry.
easy to follow up, and it was really also a lot of help from the professors.
Okay.
Like, there is no stupid question. You can ask anything what you don't understand, concepts, or even they sent a lot of explanations, a lot of case studies, so that you can actually at the end of the modules follow up with what they are saying. The technologies are seen, like you get an understanding of them. Obviously, there's a lot of room for deepen the topics. You can go much in detail, but because we are a lot of people who might not choose all about the same technology, we just get like an understanding of what is going on in the renewable energy industry. And if you have questions, you can always ask the professors or the coordinators of the program. They're always answering the question. That's one of my really good feedback for the program. It's like there's no question that they just ignore or left behind. Like there's always an answer.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Alejandra. And so maybe this answers, thank you for answering also Mohammad's question, who is coming from a natural science background and was wondering if the technical modules are more challenging.
The content when you don't have a technical background,
those students not having an engineering background. But you just said even you have a business background.
Network with the students.
And you're not one of our.
When you don't understand something,
you're one of.
You can also ask for the people that you know that are engineers. For example, now with the group assignment that we have for the on-time campus time, we have several engineers, and then it's not that they take all the load of the assignment, but if I don't have immediately an answer for a question, I can go to them and ask them, or we find it out together, or we go to the professor. Like it's both ways. And I think that's very enhancing this network that it's in with the students, because you can just ask there. As I said before, there's not stupid questions. You can always ask.
Let's try. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. Technique, you try something and then 2 hours later it doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, so regarding what Alejandra said, I can just sign that, as we say in German. I would fully agree with the concept of
and Hikmat, shall we give it another try?
In teams, in groups of students, and each one have their background, their specialty, and we help each other. One has more information from an engineering background, one more from a financial background, and we even had one who had a communication background. Sure. So my name is Hikmat. I'm Palestinian German, and I have studied biotechnology engineering some 22 years ago, and have been working in the pharmaceutical area since then.
Hikmat, would you like to say a few words about yourself? Because I don't want
after some years of working, you are either extremely happy or you say, hey, was that everything? And I said, no, I want to do something else. And one of the challenges that I've been, let's say, thinking about, reading about, and mentally engaged with for a long time is renewable energies. And so at this point in my life, I said, you know, this is what I want to do. And I was very lucky to find this program that fitted well with my work life, because it's very difficult at a, to have a job and then start to study. And I think the MBA Renewables has a very good balance between basically being able to continue your normal work life, but also have an additional education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was this question by Joanna addressed to Alejandra, but I think this goes to you both. How much do you spend for learning?
So for me,
is it possible to say, maybe it's a difference from the first semester to the second semester. I don't know. But
and you can actually
decide. Or how do you? Maybe we can broaden this question. So how do you organize yourself? Have you found a way, like
to see where are the points that I need
special days
to
for
ask
learning?
to work on? And there are specific dates, for example, for the written assignment, for the exams. Obviously, for those dates, 1 or 2 weeks before, I always bought to have it free, because it's normally to go through the assignment, go through details. I would not be able to say for each week, because every week for me looks different regarding work or family issues. So the flexibility of the program is that you get all the content, and then once you see what you have in front of you, you can actually plan.
If I may add to that, so I would say if I had the time, I think to do the MBA well, to really invest the time you'd like to invest to learn everything proper, I would estimate something like 20 hours per week. You can probably manage to do it somehow with half the time, so 10 hours a week. But I would say not much less than that. Now, how does it distribute over time? In my case, every beginning of semester, I have the good intention to study every week and every day and every morning and every weekend, and usually it ends up with about a week or 10 days before the next exam or assignment, hell breaks loose, and I just try to stop everything else and focus 120% on the MBA. It worked very well till now, but it's a character thing. We have other students that are really very systematic, and you start seeing in the WhatsApp chat, questions being exchanged 3, 4, 5 weeks before the next milestone. I can only say respect to these people. It's not my character. I'm a last-minute guy. So, but again, I've seen also people who thought they could do it with less. Having small children, having a very intensive job, some other, let's say, things they had to take care of. And if you think that you can do it with 2-3 hours a week, just because you're very smart, I would say that won't be enough. That would be very difficult to do.
Thank you very much. There was one question by Martin, which might be more suited for a graduate of the program, but I read it, and he's wondering: would you say the MBA Renewables is a door opener for getting into new professional fields, or is it more a nice to have and good to know? I mean, you're still in the middle of the program. Uta just like to say a few words, but first, maybe what are your, maybe you can't tell yet if it will succeed, but maybe what are your expectations?
Energy,
and I asked this before, why did you decide to study the program, or what happened already?
In energy, but not renewables specifically.
You see the question.
And then
can you say a few words about this? Or?
It didn't just give me the knowledge that I needed to have a conversation about the topic and to see like trends and innovation and so on. But it also gave me like a perspective in which direction I would like to go professionally. After 1 year now that I'm studying the MBA, as I mentioned it before, I'm transitioning now to the energy sector again. Which is more focused, it's not specifically renewables, but it's now in Germany, everyone is focused in renewables, so it's kind of complementary. So it depends, I would say, on the person, how you use the opportunities, how you use the network that you are given by the MBA. The professors are really persons who know what they are doing, and they have really good contacts. And the students, like you can also profit from the international community. And if this is not enough, this can just open possibilities to think, this is happening in the industry, this is happening in the renewable energies. Maybe I would like to go in this direction, and because you can see innovation and a little bit of what is going on, what will be going on in the future, you can anticipate and you can move to industries that might not be that saturated.
Well, I can add my personal maybe motivation on this or reasoning. I have tried in the last 10 years to apply with a couple of wind energy firms and failed dramatically because they look at my CV and I'm an engineer of biotechnology. I have experience in sales in the pharmaceutical industry. So there's a big question mark, what do you want from us, dear Hikmat? Why are you applying with us? And for me, the idea was to do a degree so that I can prove to them that even though it doesn't show in my background or CV, until then, that I am dedicated to a certain topic and have a basic level of knowledge that is usable, and that will make my entry into a new industry much easier. Additionally, my other motivation also is, even if I don't move to renewable energy but stay in the pharmaceutical industry, the basics that we learn about finance, about financial review, international law, project management are all things that I can also use where I am working right now. So it's called MBA Renewables with a focus on renewables, but a lot of the toolkit that we are getting is a toolkit that you can use in many, many different areas of work.
Well, thank you so much. I would in general, I would not like to add something because Alejandra and Hikmat already told a lot about this. And well, Alejandra is right. It depends finally, or first of all, on you, how you use the international network you get from the MBA Renewables, how you are motivated and how open you are for new ideas. But I know that some of our graduates changed the sector, changed the position after they did the MBA Renewables program. And I'm working in a company who's dealing with focusing on further education, and I would say, of course, further education worth every time. And this is, well, it depends on you. And last week I met a former participant from the on-campus time 2 years ago. He moved from Brazil to Germany, and he said to me, well, he had his interview here during the on-campus time, and the job he got because he does the MBA Renewables program. But I would say this depends on you, first of all, and we are here to support you. So, and there was another question from Frederick, how much interaction is there with renewable energy and energy efficiency companies during the course? Well, the course, I mean, this is a study program, you study online. Maybe you mean the on-campus time in summer every time. We have some visits, but we are ready to provide you with some contact data from renewable energy companies here in Germany. Beuth University is a state-owned university. RENAC Renewables Academy is a private company focusing on further education. We have some contacts, of course, but it is not that way that, and we are independent. It's not that way that we organize networking or B2B meeting during the on-campus time. This is not foreseen because this is not the idea of an MBA Renewables program or of our MBA program. However, RENAC has a lot of contacts in the sector, more or less international. So, and there was Mohammed's question.
Yeah, exactly. There
Mohammed, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
maybe I read it first because it's not everyone can read this. So Mohammed was wondering how similar or different this MBA Renewables is from a general MBA in terms of leadership and project management. And I can say we do cover project management, of course, but the question is, I don't know anything about your background now, Mohammed, but the focus of this program is really on renewable energy. So it's not like the classical MBA you do in order to achieve a very high salary position. And I remember a webinar, of course, I don't want to exclude this possibility, but I remember last year's webinar, we had a Q&A with one of our students, Graham. I think you both have met him, Graham from New York, and you can still watch it, it's still online, and it was very interesting also for me to see, because he said, of course, he applied for other MBA programs where they also offered to have many meetings, but he said the special thing about this MBA was that he learned so much about the topic. He came from the financing sector, that he didn't need any of these meetings because he knew so much that he was able to speak about these topics and show that they had the knowledge, as Alejandra just said and as Hikmat said. So of course all the classical MBA topics are covered, but our focus is on the renewable energy.
Yeah,
or do you would like to add
yeah,
something?
I'm not that familiar with MBAs on leadership and project management, but I would like to add we have a whole module on project management, and yeah, it's focused on renewable energy technology use, and yeah, you get more because you have this classical MBA programs and the specialization, an add-on in renewable energy.
Mm-hmm. There's another question by Abdullah Fatal, addressed to Alejandra and Hikmat. I just read it. Can you please share with us a little bit if you had so far to work with renewable energy-focused companies in your region on assignments and research papers you had to be done throughout the program, like doing financial models, project setup and procedures?
Not all the modules are pointed in one direction or in one country, that you have to do this. It's flexible when sometimes you can decide on which country would you like to focus. Because obviously all of us or most of us are coming from different regions in the world and have different interests. So this should allow the students to go further to their interests. So for me, some of the assignments I have decided by myself where I would like to point them regarding of my interest. Some other assignments are already given. They give the country, for example, that we need to analyze, or the company that we need to analyze, and they set the scenario, and then we need to provide different assignments. It depends on the module, but it's very diverse, I would say. So sometimes it really taking the people out of their comfort zone and researching from countries that maybe you might not choose by yourself. And some others, they give you the flexibility to just go with your passion and just apply what you would like to learn.
Maybe if I can just give an example for that. So we had a module last year where we had the question if rooftop solar systems are economically viable in a certain country. And in that case, the assignment wasn't given as this is the country, these are the regulations, these are the feed-in tariffs, this is blah, blah, and you just have to do the calculation, which we have assignments like that, where it's more about learning the toolkit of calculation, of modeling. There we get, in such things we get ready-made information, and we just need to train ourselves using the tools. But in the assignment I'm talking about, we were basically given the free choice. Choose a country or a region of your choice. It could be Germany, it could be Mexico. I chose, for example, because I found interesting, Palestine, my home country. And then basically you research the internet and you discover, oops, there's nothing there. And then I asked my professor, he gave me 1-2 more links. I looked at them and then started sending emails, doing phone calls to companies in Palestine, doing solar technology, getting from them first-hand information on how things really happen on the ground today. And I have to say that was a very exciting experience to do that, not just because it's my home country, but also because it's a far distant exercise. So it's a special challenge when you cannot just go next door, knock the door, but basically you have to find the information either available in the internet or directly contacting people, and you learn a lot for how to manage projects like that. So that was very interesting, and that was directly interacting. I hope that helps understand a little bit how we work. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And I would also like to add to this question that please keep in mind there is a master's thesis where you can really work on a topic. You choose your own. We don't give you any topic, and there you can contact a company. I think 15% of our master thesis students are writing in a company together with a company. So this is a place where you really decide individually what you would like to focus on, who you would like to contact. We have come very far. It's nearly 4 o'clock here in Berlin. I see there was one last question by Martin. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, because you wonder if there's an advantage of studying renewables at Beuth University in comparison to the renewable programs at federal universities. Beuth, I mean, I'm not sure if you mean by federal university like state university, like public university. We are a state university, but of course it's situated in the Institute of Distance Learning, so it's there are tuition fees, but I think we are a bit more flexible than some other state universities because of this. So it's and also because of the cooperation with the Renewables Academy.
Yeah, I would like to add, we at RENAC, we have another cooperation with another well-known and important excellency university, German university. Well, the cooperation with the distance learning university of the Beuth University is very flexible, very open for, it is a wonderful team, I would like to say. And in this public-private partnership, we are more flexible than other programs. And this MBA Renewables program offered by Beuth and RENAC, as far as I know, it's the only one with this in this combination which you could study online. There are a lot of other programs on campus all over the world, but part-time online with an on-campus time in this structure, as far as I know, there is not another example available so far. I'm wondering, but well, and the initial idea of the cooperation was to use the academic competence of a university, of a state-owned university, and the flexibility of a private company. You should imagine we started this the 12th program 11 years ago, and at this time there weren't that many programs on renewable energies available, even in Germany. So, and this is a kind of history or a story behind this cooperation.
Okay. Well, I think we have come to the end. We have received some more questions by email, so those of you who have written us, don't worry. We will answer them by email or even share with all the others who joined the webinar. I would like to, oh, my colleague just told me there was, right, there was a question by Javier, a very special one about Uni Assist, which he had heard very bad things about in Google News. It's a big discussion, that's true, and you have to see, I mean, I don't want to neither defend Uni Assist nor go into and say, oh, they're very bad. I just can tell from my own experience that we, because we have this service-minded thinking, so if you are facing any issues during the application process, we are glad to help you and to establish a contact between Uni Assist and you.
I have just 1 minute because I wrote down a few things at the beginning that I just wanted to give a short answer to. Is that
Don't worry about this. This is no reason to not apply.
I think one of the interesting questions I found was interaction with the professors and fellow students. How does that work? In the lectures itself, the same way you're seeing here today, basically we type questions and sometimes we open the microphones and have an open dialogue. For me, one of the great things about this MBA or this online course is that the class is very small. So it's much more intimate. There are courses online with 300, 400 students and you're just a small number, you're nobody. And each professor knows us very well and knows us not just by name, and they because the dialogue is more intense, it gets more familiar, and I find that very valuable. On the background needed, I do want to give a short warning. if you don't have a financial or an engineering background or an interest going in those directions, then it'll be challenging. It won't be impossible, but it'll be challenging because they do expect some know-how, engineering know-how. If you don't have it, you can learn it, but it's hard work. Nothing, I would say, is at a complexity level that it cannot be done if you invest time. So it's either you have the background or you need to invest the time. For me, the most challenging part is not the content, the difficulty, because somebody said how easy is it to pass the distant learning program. I think it's the self-motivation, really investing the time. I would say nothing of what we've seen till now is really extremely difficult if you invest the time, if you learn the learning units, if you ask questions early enough. We have a WhatsApp group, MBA 2018, where basically all the students are in there. If we have questions, we post it, other people reply, and it's a very nice dynamic community. And since we had the on-campus time, it's not just a community, it's a nice family. So I'm very happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Hikmat. Well, and I always say this, they don't get any money for saying well, really, even trust me. Okay, so thank you all for joining. It was really nice. I'm very glad that so many were interested in joining this webinar. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. And yeah, a big thanks again to Alejandra and Hikmat for joining today. And